enjoying this nice day.
It's beautiful out.
Yeah, why is anybody listening to him? Well, that was. Sun is down. And next week, daylight saving.
This weekend, yeah.
Daylight saving time.
Up and ahead. Love it.
Well, sometimes I listen to government meetings while I'm out working on the farm. I put my headset on and to work.
No relationship between shoveling out Big Pam.
Yeah. Good one, Sandy. Good one.
One's favorite bullshit and one's literal bullshit.
Mind you, we are live. Sally, is everything ready to go? Okay, we'll get this board meeting underway. Thanks for joining us. March 6th, regional board meeting. I'd like to acknowledge that we're holding the meeting on the traditional territory of the Kahlon people. We have the agenda in front of us. Just for everybody's attention, an item was added under the consent agenda, 1.8 from the financial committee that we had this morning. There's time constraint on it, so we had it earlier on and we had to rush it through this board meeting. But it has been added to the agenda. So would somebody like to vote that? Thank you, Director Gisborne, second by Director Lennox. All in favor? Opposed? Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes of the regular board meeting, February 28th, 2024. Any errors or omissions? See no hands, so a motion to approve. Gisborne, Director Lennox. Sorry?
Director Fallon says
No, I was just moving it. But
second, I got to Director Lennox first. So all in favor? None opposed, motion carries. Excuse me. We have no delegations, no unfinished business. We have one item of correspondence. If anybody wants to do anything, make any motions in regards to that, please let me know. Director Gisborne?
Yeah, I got a question. I'm reading this letter from the Minister of Housing, and his response to us says that since OCP updates for housing will now be required on a regular basis, in brackets, every 5 years, community members and groups will have a regular opportunity to provide input to help shape their community and address its housing needs then. My understanding is that's the requirement for municipalities, but we're a regional district and I keep hearing that we don't fit in that same category. So
I think the CAO has a comment on that. Or, oh, sorry, Ms. Rodden.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair, yes, if I could just add, Director Gisborne's correct that that requirement is for municipalities only, not for regional districts.
Okay. Thanks for the confirmation.
I'm wondering if we should send a letter to the province asking him if he knows what we are, because he seems to be responding to what he thinks is a municipality and we're a regional district, but I don't think sending another letter would be valuable because he doesn't seem to understand that we're a regional district. Very disappointing.
We'll move on. So no business arising and consent agenda. Opportunity to remove from the consent agenda.
Chair, don't we have a business arising 7.1?
Oh, update your
oh, okay. Sorry.
your link. Refresh.
Yeah, refresh. That was taken.
Never mind. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I just checking. I'm fine.
Not a problem. Anybody want to remove anything from the consent agenda?
8.1.
8.1 is now 9.1. Anything else? Seeing no hands, would somebody like to move the consent agenda?
So moved.
Director Lennox, seconded by Director Gisborne. All in favor? None opposed, motion carried. So 8.1. You have a motion that you would like to make in regard to that item?
I don't really know if I have a motion, but I would like to discuss the item a little bit.
I think that when you remove it from the consent agenda, it is if you're going to be making an alternate motion to the one that is presented.
Alternate motion, or discuss it, or vote against it.
I don't know, CAO, is that correct?
It's clear.
Yeah. We should probably get a motion so we can discuss.
Yeah, we should get a motion though. Director Doubt? Oh, can't hear you.
You're muted.
Muted.
There we go. Now I'm not muted. I'd like to move the motion that's in the package.
Okay, do I have a seconder for the
I'll second for discussion.
Director Paul had his hand up? Okay, any discussion? Director Gisborne?
Yeah, at our last committee of the whole meeting, when this item came before us, I've had a bit of chance to think about it and look a little bit deeper into this Connect the Coast proposal. I understand that the motion is to ask staff for a report in the first section. The second section is that referred to the report, staff attach, quote, that the Qathet Regional District endorse in principle this project, or that the following motion be referred. So there's a procedural thing that I have a bit of an issue with on the second, which is that we are referring a motion to staff, like we're not actually adopting a motion or sending a resolution. So it's like, I think procedurally, we either pass a motion or we don't. And then we send that to staff. The first part, though, when we're asking for the staff report, is asking for staff's input on this Connect the Coast project. And digging into this project a little deeper, I'm running into some very serious challenges and some very big hurdles. For example, one, it shows, having a separate bike path, active transportation corridor, essentially going right next to the highway. And if you just type into Google Maps, I want to cycle from Sultry Bay to Pacific Point, it actually doesn't show you going along the highway. The shorter, safer route actually goes up around Kelly Creek and connects over to Duck Lake Road. So I know a lot of this is being compared with the Tofino and Ucluelet active transportation corridor, but looking at that project, it's a lot of forest. And in this case, it's going to be a lot of invoking of eminent domain, requisitioning private property, an active transportation corridor that crisscrosses a lot of private driveways. And active transportation is one of our strategic priorities. It's one of our objectives. It's part of our OCPs. But this kind of specificity, which is just right next to the highway, I don't think it's creative enough. I don't think it's innovative enough, because there's a whole bunch of other routes which could potentially be possible based on Ministry of Transportation's right-of-ways and alternative routes which could be more cost-effective and safer, shorter distances. And as a result, I'm having a bit of a problem, asking our staff to go and write a report, which is, we are concerned about the amount of staff time and looking into all these kind of things. And, $4 million a kilometer, I think is, it's a little low for what it'll probably come out as at the end of the day. And I'm thinking, where can we get the creativity and the alternatives? Because I'm hearing discussion in the community all the time of, well, there's two little roads somewhere and there's a MODI right of way that could potentially connect them. And maybe that could be a way to start linking different parts of the community together. And as a result, I've got some hesitancy on the project.
Right, Director Paul.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to point out in the motion that that's embedded in the comments, two phrases that are kind of key here. One is the word initiated. So that project has been initiated, meaning it's in the very early stages, and that the phrasing detailed planning and subsequent phases. So I don't think I don't get the sense that the location drawn on that map is set in stone. They want to have a vision for how to get it going. It will be done in phases. It'll be opportunistic to link up with initiatives that are underway, seek opportunistic funding, and so on. And I really fully, and I hear what Director Gisborne's saying, and there's a lot of good points. But I also think that as the project unfolds, if they see that there's a better location for the trail, that is where it will go. It'll go where it's feasible and where it works. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Director McCormick.
Thank you. I support the recommendation to refer this to staff and get a report back. I think it's a great idea. It's a beautiful plan. If it could happen, yeah, awesome. but it may be a bit pie in the sky in terms of how it's going to be paid for. So I'd like to get the report from staff and then take our options from that.
Good. Thanks very much. Seeing no other hands, I'll call the question. All in favor? Oh, sorry.
Just a small, so I liked the concept, and I think that's what it is. It's a concept, and agreement in principle with the concept means that there's lots of details to be ironed out. I guess my question before I vote on this would be, is agreement in principle and asking for a report going to be taken as a concept, or is it going to be taken literally with the map in the current design by staff? And what does this actually mean that we're asking for? That's what or how does staff interpret as we're asking for in the report? Is it just to provide options for how we put it into the official community plan, or is it something more detailed? Because I think we're just looking at the idea of agreement in principle and how we might incorporate the concept into future plans.
With somebody else from staff, CAO.
Through the chair, I think you're on the same wavelength as what staff are, and I think they're also asking for some type of commitment from the QRD in return in the terms of manpower. So we'll try to incorporate all of that into the report, so you guys understand. And I agree, it's just a concept right now. So let's not try to presume too much into the bigger picture.
Okay, thank you.
I think I saw Director Dowd's hand up, or did you take it down?
No, I did.
Okay.
And I just want to reiterate that, paragraph 1 is a request that we discussed at committee of the whole to get staff to take a look at the whole project concept and come back and give us a report about how the regional district could be involved in moving the concept forward, improving rights of way, improving the timeline, and whatever staff thinks we might want to do. And the second part of it is simply a statement to say that we endorse in principle the project. It has nothing to do with the dollar value of one particular section or picking a roadway or beside the roadway. It's a general statement. And my point is, if you think that you want generally to have a separated bike path between Langdale and Lund, which I hope we have someday, you have to start with a concept somewhere. And this is a good concept to start with. Obviously, there's millions of details to sort out before we get there.
Okay, thanks very much, Director Lennox.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I think I understand the intent here. Paragraph 2 is, in my mind, what we came to as a group. The first part, I hope that we're not going to spend too many resources on another report, because, again, my interpretation of the information we have is very preliminary. The request here from the project was that we actually do more. Right. And so I'm hoping that this report will be a simple explanation of what does actively participate in its realization mean. So I'm okay with the motion, but I have the same concerns as the other directors. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Seeing no other hands, and just to be clear, we do have 2 motions here, so we're only looking at the first one right now. But call a question, all in favor? None opposed, motion carries. Okay, item 2, does somebody want to move that forward? Director McCormick, second by Director Lennox. Any discussion? I mean, we kind of already discussed it. But... So, Director Goodmore.
Yeah. The first part, the other directors convinced me to say yes. So thank you for the fellow members of the board. The second motion, though, is that the following motion be referred to attach to their staff report that the Qathet Regional District endorse in principle this project, recognizing its alignment with regional benefit goals and potential to significantly benefit our multi-communities. I think including that isn't necessary, and it could potentially put the cart before the horse. I want to see what staff come back with before passing a motion that refers a motion that it hasn't been adopted as a resolution to our staff, stating that we endorse the project in principle when we actually haven't passed a motion that we endorse the project in principle. So just from a procedural point, the board convinced me on the first part to support getting the staff report, but the second report, the second motion here, I think is a little bit premature at this time. So I will not support the second motion unless, of course, the board can convince me otherwise. So
You have something to add to that, CEO?
Through the chair, part of the procedure bylaw, the members may make motions in general, and one of them is to refer to staff. So there's nothing improper with the motion. And I think the gist is that we're going to look at whether or not the board should be looking at this and approving it in principle. And remember, we're only going to make recommendations. So if we recommend that you don't, you can always do the opposite end, approve it in principle or support them in principle. Or if we say, yeah, I think you should support them in principle, you can always say, no, I don't think we will once we've read the report.
Right, great. Thanks very much. Seeing no other hands, I'll call the question. All in favor? None opposed.
motion convince me otherwise, CAO.
Recent one.
Resolutions. Pardon me, Director McLennan.
I'll move the recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Second, Lennox, any discussion? Seeing no hands, all in favor? None opposed, motion carries. Item 10.2, Director McLennan.
Thank you. I have an amended motion that I would like to put forward. Staff have the wording.
Shelley is going to put it on the screen.
Minus the typo?
There it is.
The typo, yeah. And that basically it is the motion, the first 4 lines of the motion, it's as it's written. And after it says is established in the regional thing on the mainland. And that staff be directed to then explore the feasibility of options for addressing organics in Area D.
Okay, so we're taking out, consider establishing a process for delivering and adding in, essentially explore the feasibility of options for addressing organic. So it kind of just opens it up a little bit more. Yeah.
If there's a seconder, I'd like
If
to.
there's a seconder, Director Elliott, thank you. Go ahead, Director McLennan.
Yeah, thank you. I think this motion recognizes the value of staff time. And right now they're working to get the Resource Recovery Center open and deal with the organics issue on the mainland. So it recognizes that, yeah, deal with those important things first, and then take a look at what can happen on Texada, because we also have organics issues. So that's the other thing that it recognizes.
Okay.
So, thank
Makes
you.
sense, sure. Director Gisborne?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Director McCormick for this amended motion because it actually deals with some of the reservations I had at the committee level. The previous motion was about, having organics collection on Texada Island and, potentially having it then come over to the mainland for, disposal and treatment and all that kind of stuff. But, we still don't have a mainland organics diversion facility yet. And, it's something I've been thinking about in terms of, Texada's unique topography. They don't have bear issues. They got a lot of quarry areas, and there might actually be a number of opportunities on Texada for dealing with organics that, who knows, maybe we might actually find a better site over there to ship the mainland stuff over. But we're not there yet. But I think that, yeah, as staff are directed to explore the feasibility of options of organics in Area D, those opportunities might present themselves, and then we're not, holding our staff to be contingent on what happens on the mainland. So, thank you, Director McCormick.
Great, great. Any other comments, Director Elliott?
Thank you, Chair. I support the motion. I'm not entirely convinced that we need to necessarily wait for the mainland stuff to be finished prior to exploring options. And I think I encourage Texada Island to talk among themselves and find solutions to the organics issue. I don't think assuming that we need to transport it off the island is the way to go either. So I like the idea of looking at local options. And I think this motion allows for that. So I'm in support of it.
Great. Awesome. Seeing no other hands, we'll vote on the item. All in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. Motion carries. No reports, no bylaws, no new business. Question period.
Hello, Chair Galinsky from the Peak here. You were very efficient today, so I don't have any questions.
Great. Thanks, Mr. Galinsky. And we do have an in-camera session.
So, okay. I move that the board move in camera the meeting be closed to the public on the grounds that the subject matter to be considered relates to matters covered by the community charter under section 91C, labor relations or other employee relations, K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a regional district service and at their preliminary stages, and that in the view of the board could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the regional district if they were held in public. And the consideration of whether a board meeting should be closed under provision of this subsection or subsection 2. And 2, a part of a board meeting must be closed to the public if the subject matter being considered relates to one or more of the following. B, the consideration of information received and held in confidence relating to negotiations between the regional district and a provincial government or the federal government or both, or between a provincial government or the federal government or both and a third party.
Seconded by Director Lennox. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Not opposed. Motion carries. We're going in camera.
Congrats. Yeah, we're just.
Don't start without Roger.
No,
We don't have a Rise and Report, do we?
We still can't start without Roger.
We'll be chapped.
are you on, Roger? Good, thank you. Okay, we're all good? Okay, we have no rise and report from the in-camera session, so I declare the meeting adjourned. Thanks for coming.
4:12?
That's amazing.
So